What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lou Reviews, your home and realm and home and mansion and houseboat for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. My name's Luis Jimenez. I'm so happy you guys are here. We have a killer show lined up. Before we get started, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, become a member, because I'm going to throw something at you guys at the end of this show that I think I'm going to start doing as soon as I'm done with this edit. And I'll tell you all about it at the end of the show. But definitely consider becoming a member, because I think I'm going to start putting some really cool content behind the membership wall, and I'll tell you why. So come over there. Check out our links down below. We've got everything to help support the show. And if you can't do it, no sweat. Like, share, subscribe, share the show, ring the bell, tell everybody that we're live right now. That's more than enough. All right. So today I speak with Cryshlee, a special effects expert renowned for her insightful breakdowns of the infamous MH370 portal videos that have been captivating the internet. We delve into the burning questions: are these videos authentic, or can they be meticulously recreated? And perhaps more intriguingly, what implications might this hold for the possibility of human-made teleportation technology linked to the MH370 incident? So it's going to be a fun show. We're also going to get to Kirkpatrick and Fugel in the next hour and tell you about what we're doing with the show. So without further ado, let's switch to our Lou Reviews studio mode and welcome our guest for the day. Cryshlee, your mic is on mute, but that's all good. Let's see if she's here. She should be here in a sec. Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on a second. Let me just bring down the volume of the music here on my end, and we'll get this started. All right, there we go. I just stopped it. That's probably a better way to do it. Cryshlee, how are you? Can you hear me? Excellent. All right, so where do we start? Well, first of all, welcome to the show. I'm happy you're here. I want to just give you a quick sort of shout out and love for the work that you've been doing here. At least that I've noticed in the last about week and a half is when I sort of caught wind of what you were doing. And in just a week and a half, the amount of debunking that you've been able to do on these videos that have been propagated and dastardly worked up the social media chain to places that really are astonishing. And they were all done by he who shall not be named. First of all, I guess for the audience, just to give a little background, and of course, I don't want details because I know there's a lot of people that are doing weird shit to you just because you're actually doing this. But can you give the folks a background of sort of where you come from and how you got into special effects or editing particularly? Mm-hmm.
Business. That's what I've been doing. And then just this December, I kind of gotten saw a video that kind of showcased the whole issue, and from that moment is when I kind of got into this.
Right on.
I just thought it was very fascinating.
So
How
real quick,
contentious it got.
I have to be completely transparent because this happens, right? I make mistakes all the time, and I had you on mute for a good part of that. So I'm going to quickly recap. Editor, teacher, stumbled onto the MH370 videos, and here we are. COVID, whole nine. That's a quick encapsulation. Did I miss anything, Cryshlee?
No, you got most of it.
Okay, great. In other words, she is a professional. Okay, she knows how to do this. I think her videos display that very, very well, and we're going to go through a few of them here shortly. But okay, so you get to these MH370 videos, and what is it that sort of pops in your head here with this to make you start breaking these down? Like, why? What triggered you on these?
Well, when I first became aware of the case, I think it was like either right before or right after the cloud pictures were found, and based off of, I mean, not just the fact that the videos look clearly fake, but when the cloud pictures were found, I noticed that the photographer was getting like some serious harassment, like some serious actual abuse, not just to like it wasn't as simple as um like doubting. It was
Yeah.
more like he's a scammer, he's a fraud, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, this is not okay.
Right.
If we can demonstrate visually, to people, maybe that would help. But
Right.
it's been a long couple of months.
Yeah,
And
well, I could trust me when I tell you, I nobody understands this more than I do.
but yeah, that kind of was the catalyst for me personally. But it's
Yeah.
not just me. There's a lot of us who are looking at this like this isn't okay.
Right.
And this kind of nonsense kind of has to stop. So whatever we can do to kind of shed light on this, we're trying to do that.
Well, hey, I just want to give you a shout out and say thank you. Thank you for doing this. It's been great to share your videos and just how you dissect them cloud by cloud, frame by frame. I think you've demonstrated pretty well that it is very possible to recreate these. But instead of me just saying that, let's go through it. Like, what's the first thing that you want to show us here that
Sure.
that either you worked on or sort of, you want us to pay attention to?
Okay, well, we can probably go straight in. The first thing, probably the most important thing, are the clouds. So it's really important to kind of it's important to explain why finding the clouds kind of sticks a pin in this, so to speak.
Oh,
Sorry, this is my that's my
no,
that's
it's
my
okay.
film roll. Let me get the clouds.
Okay.
Just for people who don't know, let me on. Give me one moment. I'm trying to share my screen so you guys can see.
Yeah.
The clouds, for example. One moment. Let's get this screen on. Okay. Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me go back for a moment. The photographer provided a drive full of all of his raw files of photos that he took during a trip to Japan. Now, these are the photos that are in the background of the MH370 videos. You guys probably can all recognize them at this point.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is with these photos are that they're in raw format. That means that they're directly from the camera. There's no like middleman there or anything. And these being a complete match to the background means that the person who created these videos just stitched them together and used them as a background for their work. Now, there's been a lot of discourse surrounding the legitimacy of these raw files. However, and even though people have tried to create synthetic raw files, it's impossible to create an actual genuine raw file, not just one, but a set of raw files in sequential order, not just showing the clouds that we see in the videos, but like it's like a full scene. Like if you were in an airplane and you were taking a bunch of photos as the
Right.
plane was turning, you would expect those photos to kind of line up, essentially, right? And
Right.
that's what they do. If you lined up all the cloud photos, they kind of they show the scene. But
What
people are still
is
saying that
what
these have
is
somehow been
the
planted. So
what is sort of the biggest complaint of the person who believes these are real? What are they yelling the loudest when you present something like this?
they yelled a lot. The thing they yell a lot is it could have been planted by CIA, FBI. They can't find it prior to 2016.
That's just
Um,
so convenient, man. That's the issue with can I just real quick
yeah,
like this idea that there is no such thing as good data or news is some of the most confusing part of this conversation because the original person, he who shall not be named, doesn't and no longer has worked himself into a corner where he no longer trusts the sources from which he got the original video from.
yep.
Just to be clear to the audience, I'm sorry. Please continue.
His The story is that somehow someone took screenshots of this super low resolution video and made these genuine raw files out of them, and that's it. Not only is it like conceptually impossible, but it's
Yeah,
physically impossible.
right.
And the problem with this is that we have worked so hard to provide all of the evidence to support these videos being fake, and not a single they sling accusations like these are clearly fake. This is not this was a setup, this is a psyop, but there's been no proof. There's been no actual hard evidence to back up any of the claims, and so we're just in this never ending back and
Yeah.
forth.
Well, it's funny. The other night I brought up because to me, honestly, the best raw place to get news is Reuters or the AP because those are the two places since the beginning of news where all the news goes first and then the different newspapers and news entities pick the stories they want from the raw files from what's really happening and then of course they're going to spin it their own way. There's no journalists at the AP. There's no they all they do is post the story from the journalist, and it's like they they just like no, it's a Zionist. They literally said it was a Zionist run website. I was like, okay, that's pretty wild, pretty wild.
Yeah, it's hard, but I think that at this point we've moved past the point of trying to prove, because unless they can really come forward with any kind of
Yeah.
evidence that these photos are not genuine, the argument kind of stops there.
Well, I
But
think
what's helpful
go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that what's helpful is for people who are on the fence who don't really know what's going on. I
Mhm.
feel like it's been helpful to kind of
Right.
have this information in like an open format so people can come in and see
But also,
what's
I
been
think
going on.
shared enough and make it viral enough where when somebody types in MH370, hopefully the first thing that comes up is debunk, when it finishes it
Yeah.
out in the search bar because people have shared these videos. So if you haven't already, follow Cryshlee, share all of her fucking videos, hashtag MH370 on it, and help her spread this information because again, she's breaking down these videos in a way that nobody's actually gone the patience and gone through to do. And that's what Ashton was complaining the loudest. Oh God, I said his name. Shit. A Horcrux. A Horcrux is oh fuck. Oh man. Damn it. Okay, he just got stronger a little bit. So damn it. Damn it. All of the show that we just did just completely wasted. All right. It's like setting the accident clock back to zero. Okay, let's try it again. He who shall not be named, was screaming at the top of his lungs, oh, well, I'd like to see anybody to try reproduce this. You would need months and months and months and millions of dollars. It's just like, dude, this looks so fake right off the bat. And I'm not a video FX expert.
It's really interesting because there's like this strange narrative that people who are trying to provide some insight as to how these videos were created are kind of like classified as like this giant organization, like who's like trying to bring down the opposite side. Like it's really not that deep. And the fact that it's gone that far for some people is quite terrifying, to be honest.
Right.
Um, I'm not sure why they need this to be true so badly.
Mm.
Um, I haven't really had a chance to sit down and think about that, I guess. But
You
no, thinking
know,
about that from their perspective is just it's hard. How can you
yeah.
look at things matching? How can you look at somebody showing you, hey, these clouds are perfect matches. We have the receipts for these clouds. The photographer provided the ticket that he had, that the ticket his airplane ticket on his way to Japan when he took these photos. He
Right.
provided that as well. He was nothing but forthcoming, and it's
Which
still
is
just a
wild that he
attack.
still had his plane ticket receipt.
I mean,
That's
he's
crazy.
clearly he's an organized guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, anybody who's taking photos on his way to Japan, I'm just picturing as a very organized guy. Um I Yeah, I also find it incredibly confusing, and you're right. That's a question I don't think I've asked myself either. Like, why do they need this to be true? I understand why he who shall not be named needs it to be true. Because, when you have 100,000, evil wizards following you, and they're contributing to your army of nonsense, um, it's it is weird, man. It is just very strange how they need it to be real. Because here's the thing, and this is what I was trying to explain to Ashton. Damn it!
It's okay.
I need a whip.
We're
This is what
we're
I
on
was
the
trying to
topic.
explain the Voldemort I meant. Okay, this is actually pretty funny.
No, but it's fine because we should talk about how
Yeah,
one person has kind of dominated the conversation about
right.
this and won't allow anyone else to talk about it. That's
No,
something that should probably be
oof,
said.
that is definitely something that should be said. And I'm glad you said it. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. It's a domination of the conversation. And yeah, it's just scary. It's fascinating, it's scary. Um and yeah, I to answer that question, I don't know, man. I guess it's because they have something else missing in their life that isn't true or that isn't
I don't know.
real enough. I'm not sure. I'm not a psychologist, but you're right. Like the
It's kind of
domination of
like
the
a self,
conversation.
yeah.
It's our turn, right, Cryshlee?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's ridiculous to assume that someone has domination over a conversation,
Right.
especially if that person is making personal attacks against people, directed personal attacks. Someone with a platform that is that big. Um,
Right. Right. Well, that's the other thing too, is now it's getting to a point where he's weaponizing the wizards now. Now he's having them, do avacadabra spells on people and stuff like that, looking for families or looking for jobs or saying really awful dehumanizing stuff about people just simply because they disagree.
um, yeah,
What
so
do
I
we
don't
got
know. Let's
here?
just let's start dominating this conversation then.
I agree. Yeah,
So
show us, what do you got?
first up, let's talk about so if even if you are on the fence about these clouds, we have also found the stock assets that were used to create the rest of the videos. And I want to be clear here that it's not just me who's working on this. Lots of people have been working on this for months. So it's not as though people are coming in, because this is another narrative that people are coming in out of the woodwork to kind of kill the story before it gets too big.
Right.
We've also been in this. We've been researching this as well for months.
Are you just one of
People
the
have
first people
found
who
the
sort of edited your explanations and put them out there for people to view as content?
I mean, I'm not the first person either. That's what's even
Yeah.
crazier. People have come forward with their own recreations, their own stories, their own ideas,
Yeah.
and it's constantly pushed down. So I'm hoping that the more
Well,
people kind of talk about this openly, then we can maybe get more traction. And I think
Well,
it's already starting to work.
here's what we did the other day. We put out a list with our guest, Craftbeard, who is a clinical psychologist for prison inmates. And he put
Mhm.
out a book list on alien abductions, this psychological sort of um, uh, scientific look at abductions, memories, things like that. So he created a book list that sort of explains or helps people understand a little better what might be going on in those scenarios.
Mhm.
Maybe we should put together a list of VFX experts that are tearing this apart just like you are, but maybe aren't getting exposure in this little nook of the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, send
I
me
don't
that
know how
stuff.
to.
I will tweet the hell out of it, Cryshlee. I'm serious.
I will. I will. So here's the thing. I guess it's been kind of difficult to kind of like collect everyone.
Yeah,
I don't have a platform, so
right.
uh, I mean, just this week, people have been, I guess, tuning in a little bit more. But again, I'm just one person. I don't have too much of a reach, so it's
Right.
been kind of difficult to kind of get everyone in the same space. So if you have opinions on how we can do that, I'd be open to hear.
Well, I mean, look, my reach. Here's what happened to me. I was a believer. I had the best UFO show for about a year and a half, and then I saw what was going on behind the scenes with some of these thought leaders and quote unquote scientists and journalists, and I was like, oh, this is not right. So I told the community. Everybody got pissed off at me, and now, in the last about 4 to 5 months, the show's gotten popular again. People are listening. People are paying attention, even if they don't admit they are, which I think is the best kind of show because they're in the
Hmm.
closet on the fence and they don't want to
Hmm.
admit that they might be a fan. So, when you see another content creator, another person in the community, I mean, yeah, share it with me and I will share it with my fans. And we have some pretty big followers and people that are trying to get more common sense in the arena. So you hit the right note here, I guess is what I'm saying. So, always tag me in anything. And I think that's how we do it. And we make sure we tag the right things like MH370. 30 Voldemort is a good hashtag. There's so many things that we can hashtag. Clouds are real, but not the orbs. I don't know. We'll come up with some catchy stuff, but yeah, I think this is how we do it. We're literally doing it as we speak. So don't feel
Yeah.
guilty. Just I'll help you however I can. Whatever you can think of, I'll try and help.
Well, we do have a Discord. I don't know
Great.
if it's. I'm pretty sure it's public. I can probably maybe put an invite in the chat for everyone who wants
Yeah,
to be a
yeah. You
part.
could throw it in our chat, in the live chat, or you could throw it in this private chat that I showed you pre-show, and I'll
Okay,
put
which
it
one do
in.
you prefer?
Yeah, well, either one, either one. I probably private chat because then I could post it in this, and then I could post it
Okay.
also in my Discord. So
All
that
right,
way
I
we
put in
get the boom. There we go. All right, great. So please, as I'm doing this, explain what we're looking at and what's happening here
Yes.
with these images.
Okay, sure. So this is one of the videos that I posted on my Twitter. Just going over how one of the zap frames from one of these stock assets matches the portal zap in the satellite video. There's been a lot of pushback for this one specifically because sometimes people can't really see how this can go from this to this. So I did try to explain, but I can give a quick explanation for everyone now if that's
Yes,
okay.
please.
Okay. So After Effects specifically, um, not just After Effects, but most video special effects programs, they'll allow you to use the luminance values of an image. So that would be every value that's not black. So every color here that's not black, it can mask it out. It can make it transparent.
Right.
And that's the first thing I did. So I made this black transparent. And once I did that, I was left with the color values.
Right.
There's other tools. What I use is the choker, the matte choker, and that just kind of boosts its transparency a little bit. It takes all those little those darker values and it makes them brighter. and it kind of puts them all to the same value. So all those little like those the grayscale values, the values that are a little bit darker than white, it kind of boosts them all the way up to white. And then once you get there, you kind of start to see the silhouette here. You see the two dots, the little bump here, and then after that, it's just a matter of scaling it on the X and Y axis. No distortion, just a non-uniform scale. And all that means is that you're scaling the width and the length separately. That's it. No distortions, no deformation.
But Cryshlee, it doesn't match pixels.
That's the other crazy requirement. Like, first of all, we're matching these HD stock effects that we found from, I forgot which one. I think it's maybe 2009, 2006. The HD version to a low quality, low resolution video. How is it? It's not humanly possible for every single pixel to match. We're just we're looking for the overall shape. And for a stock effect to match this well, like think about you don't even see the back behind this. It's the same size, it's the same shape. It's statistically impossible for that to happen. That should have been the second nail in the coffin, but apparently this is not enough.
No. This is a coffin that, I mean, look, I don't know if you've ever nailed a coffin. Take it from a guy who's put a few bodies in the ground. It takes like, I'd say a good 15 to 20 nails, depending on the size of the coffin. Of course, I'm joking. I've never put bodies in the ground. So please don't be scared.
Just the requirement that these have to be a pixel perfect match it sets up an impossible conversation here. Like, we are showing you the proof and you're still saying, I'm looking at that, I'm seeing that it's a match, but I still say that it's not a match. And your effort into proving that it's a match means that it must be real.
You want to know how I know you're wrong? Because the CIA put this there.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, like, honestly, guys, this is the arguments that she gets. Like, it's wild, but you know, at some point, there's only so much you could do. But I think you're right. I think spreading this kind of show, this kind of information is going to help. So I don't think you're sort of paddling against the current here. I think you've got some folks on your side, and the chat's behind you for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad. I feel like if it was just me, I'd probably have given up a long time ago. But the community is growing. People are supporting each other, and that's important. And I think that's what's missing maybe from the other side. There's a lot of infighting. Yeah. And there's also a lot of, if you don't agree with us, you're an enemy of humanity type of comments, which is inherently toxic in the first place. Right. But how can you say that, this is something that you're serious about while still treating people horribly? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you'll never, obviously we'll never sort of get rid of it. That's impossible, right? There will always be folks that believe it. But I think I take solace in the fact that I think about 100,000 people on the planet is, I hope, the max that this will spread to. Thankfully, it didn't get on Rogan. Thankfully, he who shall not be named wasn't put on, a much, much bigger platform that maybe, it gets even worse. But hey, with information like this, I think will help combat it. And that's why Rogan said no, because of, a similar video just like this, by the VFX guys over there at the Quarter Crew.
I heard. I heard, and I also heard that that's not really going over so well, which is kind of why I feel like maybe there's some of this pushback. But let me just show you the clip in question that everyone has been talking about. Let me see if I can open it really quick.
Oh yes.
So this is the shockwave. Let's put it on. Right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Second. You've probably been talking a lot the last few days, huh?
I have.
Yeah, that's all right. Take your time if you want to get some water or something.
I'm sorry. Do I sound that bad? Okay.
No. I just this isn't like CNN or anything. Like, it's pretty chill here. So I've got a big jug of water that I just took a drink from. So, if you need a second, please take it. No worries.
Okay, so I'm fine. Here's the shockwave that everyone's been talking about. Yeah. There's also been some like concerns most recently today. So here's the frame from the zap.
Right. And
in
again,
the
this is the
satellite.
thing with that where it's almost like a PNG where everything that's black can be made transparent.
Exactly. And everything that's not black can be made into a mask. So you can make it whatever color you want. And they use the same technique for, I believe it was this frame, and several others. I believe maybe this one was used as well. People are kind of not accepting this. And I think that it's part of it is because it's the same thing with the clouds again. How do we know that this is legit? So we have actually gone the distance in terms of providing the sources of these. Like we've gotten the web archive link from I think it's 2011. We've provided even the author of these files. I actually have a message from the author of these files saying that he started making the discs in 1993. He gave some info about the file format and how it changed. I can probably put that on the screen too.
So this is a creation. Did you say from 1993?
Yes, it is, and it's been in media since then. So just the idea that these files didn't exist before the videos came out is easily proven false.
Right.
It was in Anchorman. Anchorman came out in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already like, you can even, let me see if I have that video too. I can show you. Oh, everything just disappeared for a moment.
No, you're good. Take your time. You guys, if you're enjoying the discussion,
having a lot of computer issues today, which is interesting too.
You're good. You're good, girl. Take your time. If you guys are enjoying the show, please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, ring the bell. All right, here it is. Awesome.
Yeah. So this is from 2004, and if we zoom in, can I zoom in here? Let's see. Zoom in. We can see the same frame. So there's one.
Yeah, I see it.
It's the same effect. So, and again, this is 2004.
It looks like they added some fireballs in there too.
I'm not sure how we can still sit here and continue to say that there's something fishy going on with these files. Here it is, HD 2004. It should stop there. But we've still gone ahead and provided even more and more and more evidence. So
well,
I'm not sure what else you want to see.
Cryshlee, honestly, for me, you know where it stopped? Was where the video came from, an Anon account.
Yeah,
like
that's something that we haven't been able to figure out yet. Yeah,
it's like if you can't trust any other news source, but you're gonna trust an Anon account. To me, that's like,
it's not just an anonymous account though. It's an account that was also uploading more hoax videos.
Yes, exactly. No, I was screaming that almost a year ago. I was like, I don't understand why we're going past this right here. Like, there's no reason to. There's
no reason.
There really isn't. But here we are. I mean, you know what it is, Cryshlee? Somebody said this, I think it was actually Steve Cambion, who you were on the show the other night. I believe he said this. If it wasn't someone else, then I apologize if I'm getting this wrong. But so for every 10 facts that you put out, or excuse me, for every lie that you put out, you have to have 10 facts to disprove it. You know, so that's unfortunately what we're up against. Sorry, say that again.
No, I was just agreeing with you. We need 10 times the amount to combat the nonsense, the foolishness.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to show us here?
I mean, what else is there anything that you want to see?
Yeah. I have what more do you need, people? Right?
Right.
No, I totally get it.
I have another video with like the overlay of the zap for the FLIR, because that was another thing that people were concerned about. And I colored this one in reds just so there wouldn't be any like confusion. You can see, I think I zoom in at some point. Do I? Okay, I don't, but I can zoom in. But for this one, so this one also is kind of confusing, I think, for some people who may be coming in to this whole thing, because the the FLIR specifically has like the frames of the explosion in a different order. And not only do people kind of see that and kind of be like, okay, well, there's something must be fishy about that. Why is it in a different order? But I think people also kind of forget that a VFX artist will do literally anything to a
Right.
stock asset. It's kind of up to them what they decide to do with it. The fact that multiple frames match so well, even though they have the ability to change it like unrecognizably,
Yeah.
it's another nail in this
Right.
coffin. Like it's not possible for. And then so people will bring up, oh, there's like supernova blasts that this could match, but they have not provided a match
Well, I love
that is as
when
close as these.
they when he who shall not be named says, "Oh, this black hole here is a color change and it's the sign of a wormhole." And I'm like, "How do you know that from a video this old? Like how are you pulling that from what we're looking at here?" But more importantly, I think something that we should mention is the reason why special effects artists are allowed to chop this up in whatever way they want is because they pay for the right to do so. It's a stock asset. It's something that
Mhm,
that person gets paid on every time somebody uses
mhm.
it because they have to pay for it to use it. Is that correct?
I mean, it's not necessarily
Well,
the reason
I
why we need to
mean,
change it,
almost
but that
almost
is
like a
true.
Getty image, you know? Like you could steal it,
Yeah.
screenshot it, whatever, or sort of rip it. But if you're a real studio, like you are
Right.
paying for a file of stock images that you can use in your film, right? Like that's
Mhm.
usually the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some studios have like full libraries full of
Right.
stock assets. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. But the main story, or the truth of it, is that a VFX artist can do whatever they want with the
Right.
stock asset at the end of the day. It's not like set in stone, like you have to use it the way it is out of the box. Because if
Right.
that was the case, they would use it with the black background and everything. And in the example that I showed you with the Anchorman, let me bring that back up. Um, because I want to just like demonstrate what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
let
I think in
me
the Anchorman one, it looks like they added fireballs in the middle of it.
It's not just that, but it's not that they added a fireball. It's more that they use the same stock asset, first of all, but
Mhm.
they also kind of distorted it to fit the spherical shape of his eye. And then on top of that, they added light
Right.
reflections on his eyeballs. Not just that, but they also masked out the area where it disappears behind his
Yeah.
eyelids. So that's the kind of like extra modification. So this is just one example. And this is probably the least edited example. And I think what a lot of people also don't kind of think about is that just because we haven't seen it like in its full form in other media
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that it was modified beyond
Right.
recognition. And
Well,
if
like,
the
yeah,
argument is that it didn't exist before 2014,
is
then
bullshit.
we kind of just proved it wrong,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless.
No, it's total bullshit if they're saying that. But yeah, again, like this is a major network that is producing a film, and that
Mhm.
library of stock footage that they pay for it so they can manipulate it however they want. That's part of the deal. But I think also what might be helpful, maybe I'm wrong here, Cryshlee, but I think it also might be helpful because I'm looking at the that light effect that you pointed out in his eye. I bet
Mhm.
that's a stock image from somewhere else, that glow effect. um
It could be.
yeah,
I think, if you want my opinion, I think that they may have just because
brushed
there's
it
probably
in.
light, there probably catch lights in his eyes to begin with. So the
That's
same
true.
way that we remove the black from the stock image, you
Mm,
could mask the lighting from his eyes
got it.
in the same exact way. So whatever value is lower than the value of the catch light, it would be maxed out. So they could just comp it right on top. I don't know if that
Got it.
makes sense, but
No.
it's
I basically layer it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. They're taking that first layer of the real glare and layering
Uh-huh.
it on top of the effect of the explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could very well be a stock effect, like you said, though, like a stock photo of a
Right,
reflection.
right. Or I mean, well, definitely the explosions for sure, right? Like those have got to be
Yeah.
somewhere in a library.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what was easier for them. They probably
Yeah,
just layered it though.
yeah.
But yeah,
That
I
is
don't know what
cool.
else. Like,
No, that's
how do
okay.
you
Go ahead.
continue to like what would be the next step? How do we even
Hmm.
how do we move past, like as a community, how do we move past the people who are
Well, on
determined to, I guess, silence this side? How do we do
yeah,
that?
I don't know if there's a good answer for it, to be honest with you. I think the best thing to do is try and set the highest bar that we can. And I think that'll attract the right people. And I mean, because look, I don't, I would hope this isn't true, but I feel like you could put he who shall not be named through a special effects training course with the best guys in the planet and come through with that 6 months later going, these videos are still real. So I don't
Oh
know if
man.
there's anything that we can do. It's kind of the old cliche of leading a horse to water. It's up to him whether or not he wants to drink. It's, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's the weirdest thing. I'm fascinated, but also terrified by it.
I don't know. Because we're all adults here. Like, well, for the most part, we're all adults. You would think that it wouldn't sink to the level of like high school drama. That's what it feels like. Some of these threats, like I'm gonna sue you with everything I have and all this stuff when there's no standing. Like that, it feels like a threat I'll get on like MySpace back on the day or something.
Yeah, well, it's very 4chan-y. That's really what it is, man. It's just this 4chan element that kind of just
I don't know,
takes it to the next level.
Somebody in your chat just said it's like middle school, and I'm just thinking like, how would I deal with this if I was back teaching? And I feel like it would just be like differential learning, so teaching people the way that they learn. So I don't know how these people learn. I thought it would be like this, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the step is figuring out how they learn and catering to that. I feel like that might be the only way forward.
That might, yeah. I mean, that might not. It's not going to hurt. I could tell you that. It's at this point. Let's just stick. Let's throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. I think for me, I love getting into those arenas now. Where yeah, there's just some really wild things that are said in there, and you get in there and you kind of you almost say troll them, but you kind of play into their hands. And then once you show what you're holding, it's like, okay, see, this is a full house. In a full house, what do you got there? Yep, full house beats a pair of twos, and it also beats two pairs. Sorry, boys. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, Cryshlee, but I think having conversations like this it doesn't hurt. It only helps. When people Google, the MH370, again, I hope the thing that starts coming up is hoax, MH370 hoax, or MH370, I don't know. I don't know what else would come after that I'd like to see, but definitely he who shall not be named. I would not like to see there. That'd be preferable. But yeah, so Cryshlee, is there anything else you'd like to show us, or sort of? You had this other video in here that says 22 City. What's up with that one?
I have another video that says what? Oh, my film mural.
Yeah, did you want to show that?
Yeah, if you guys want to see it, I didn't know if you just as like a idea of what I did in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if this sort of validates your career and your life, yeah, I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me add it to the stage here.
Cool. So I don't know if I can talk over this, but
Yeah.
these are a collection from I believe about two so years ago. So I think it's my film reel from 2021 to 2022.
Okay.
Everything I was doing within that year or so.
Wow. Okay. So you're creating these images from scratch?
Yes. For the most part, I did use some stock, just like this video. But for the most part, these are original. So some were for music videos, some were for promotions like TV spots.
Cool.
Some brands reached out. You're going to see a couple of them pop up a couple of times. So clothing visualizations, animations, all kinds of things I was kind of doing.
Cryshlee, you're amazingly talented. This is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I might have some work for you here soon, my lady.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. This is so cool.
I haven't had a chance to really update for.
You know what? I was just, I know, because I edit my own reels too of all my work. And yeah, I just love it. You can see I know exactly how you edit this, and I can see the growth for sure. It's good. So cool. I would love to learn how to do this. I wanted to go to school for this so bad. And I also love this logo. It's reversible, right? Your logo?
Yeah, I have a couple different versions of it.
Yeah.
Recently, though, I haven't really been doing too many animations. I've been doing like corporate work, so
yeah,
I would like to get back into this. And I feel like people are kind of open to learning about how to do stuff like this, so that might be a direction that I go.
Yeah.
After this is said.
Dude, so cool. Well, to me, I think if that reel doesn't show that you're infinitely more qualified to talk about the validity of these videos, I don't know what is. I know for sure that you're not a supposed coder for, well, whatever. I don't want to say that. But yeah, you're not working in any industry other than the one that you're talking about and sharing these facts with today, which is cool.
I mean, I think so. But maybe that's like, maybe it's a subjective, because I've also been told by these same people that these are like high school level stuff. So I don't want to like second guess myself, but I think that there is like a level of subjectivity when it comes to, I guess, deciding who is and who isn't a VFX artist.
Right.
I think maybe people look for more big names. So maybe that's somebody we should look for, more bigger names.
Yeah, I mean, but the Corridor Crew I thought would have been good enough, but I guess it's not. I'm trying to think of, like, when you think of the best, this is a great question. Instead of your best favorite movie, who's your favorite VFX creator?
It's an interesting question. I would say that the studio that works on, actually, was it the same studio? I'm not sure, because I don't want to give a name that I'm wrong. But the studio that worked on the visuals for Annihilation, I really admired what they did for that movie. Like, I don't think I've ever seen something like that in my life.
Yeah,
and I would love to get to that level at some point. I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, that's cool. Well, no, I think you did, because that's also tough. Like, when I think of my field in acting and stuff, oh, who's your favorite actor? Whatever, Robert De Niro or whoever it is. Because it's sort of a solo thing. Whereas your field, a lot of the times is collaborative, because you're working with so many different people that are creative. So it's kind of hard to take credit for something like that. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah. I'm also really bad with names. So even just asking me, my brain will just blank out. That's honestly the best I can give you when it comes to that. But
yeah. Well, the VFX,
I'm not on Instagram anymore, but like I had a lot of creators there. So smaller creators, I feel like I'm a little bit more attuned to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. I was gonna say the VFX team that did Annihilation was DNEG, at least according
I mean,
to. I could
okay,
be. I
cool.
don't
I
know.
mean, I will. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Now I can
Visual effects and
have
animation
that for
journalist
reference.
Ian Fales details the use of mandelbulbs mutations in motion capture to bring the film's otherworldly element of life. Animation Kolkata highlights this stunning VFX work, including the transformation of character into tree-like structure. So that's cool.
Yeah,
VFX
super cool.
supervisor was Andrew Whitehurst. So there you go. There
Maybe we
you
should
go.
reach out to him.
Yeah, reach out to him. See if he can get you some work. Um, cool. Well, hey, man, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sharing all the work that you've been doing. I think it's incredibly helpful. Even though I know how it feels to sort of feel like you're sort of tracking in the mud, but I think you're hitting the right. I mean, you're talking to me, and I think that's a decent step. I don't know. I can't tell you at this point in my YouTube career, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's try and spread this kind of stuff as much as we can, because I think this is helpful. And I'm sure you're getting messages from people. I know you're getting a lot of hate, but I know you're also getting messages, people saying, hey, thank you for doing this. Thank you for sort of carrying this torch when you don't have to, because Lord knows nobody's paying you to do this.
I mean, you would if you ask certain people. Apparently, I'm on somebody's payroll. I wish I
Yeah.
knew who, so I can get paid. I mean, I'd love to pay for this.
Yeah, no, I think this is just an editor and creator that got fascinated with something that they want to figure out. I think that's what it is, and that's understandable. Is there, have you seen any other sort of situations like this that you're like, hey, maybe I should do that debunk or figure out that video?
Um, well, people have been reaching out, asking me about other videos.
Yeah,
Um, I think I would say that because it's not like I'm not like figuring this out. It
yeah,
has already been figuring out. I'm just demonstrating what was figured out,
right,
myself and
right.
others.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if I would be interested in like seeking out other things to do, like to figure out,
mm.
but I guess other people have expressed interest in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it strikes your interest and your creative juices flow on it, then please do more if you can outside. But I totally get like being fatigued by this as well. Like, just being like, yeah, okay, I came out here, I said my piece, and now I'm out of here. So I get that too. So either way you go, I appreciate the work.
Of course, absolutely. I do kind of want to say, just for
Yeah,
everyone in the chat, if you do want to get into this industry, right now is the best time. The barrier for entry is very, very low. There's tons of tutorials and stuff on YouTube. If you want to get into this, there are free programs that you can learn about. You just need to take the time to do it. It's it's
right,
it's not it's not like a impenetrable industry. If you're
right.
interested, definitely learn about it, I'd say.
Yeah, where's a good place? Like, I know YouTube's a great place to learn stuff these days. Is there any?
Honestly, I would only suggest I wouldn't unless you have money to spend, I wouldn't like suggest like courses unless it's something that you're really serious about. Then like go to Skillshare or Coursera or something. But
Mhm.
YouTube is honestly, like especially the old ones with the students who are like doing their processes. I love those because they're not like trying to get money from you. They're really just explaining something and it's to the point.
Right.
I really feel like YouTube is the best resource, but
I mean, that's what I always go to YouTube anytime I want to try and figure something out, especially on either for the show or anything, anything. They've got a video for it. Well, Cryshlee, thank you again for stopping by and hanging out and sharing all this insanely great info and helping us kill a couple of Horcruxes here for he who shall not be named. I think he has become a little bit less powerful thanks to this conversation. And
I
I
agree.
think people feel more empowered with good information. So I think that's a net positive.
Agreed. 100%.
Awesome. Well, I will see you soon. Keep fighting the good fight, and if you need anything, please let me know. I will help however I can.
Got you. Thank you.
All right, Cryshlee, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that was Cryshlee. That was pretty good. It's pretty good, you guys. Yeah. I again, like I knew almost a year ago, guys, or whenever this shit started popping off, 6 months to a year ago, however long it's been. But when the video comes from an Anon account, maybe just stop there. Maybe just stop there. Especially when the Anon account's got 10 other UFO videos on it, and it says Anon in the fucking name of the account. You know what? I'm not going to go down this road again. We're moving on. we're moving on. Okay. What do we talk about next? I suppose let's do the old bookmarks and see what I got. I mean, we should definitely talk about it. We should definitely talk about this, right? This meeting. This is the big thing that everybody's discussing, because the other day Stephen Greenstreet put out his interview with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, and in that interview there was this moment where Greenstreet asks Kirkpatrick about a meeting that he had, according to Brandon Fugel, that he led, according to Brandon Fugel. Like, Kirkpatrick was in charge of this meeting. And when he asked Kirkpatrick about this meeting, Kirkpatrick said, I don't remember if I did, he said he was in Colorado. The answer wasn't great. It seemed like he was struggling to either remember or he genuinely just doesn't remember. And there's also really good reasons as to why he would not remember this meeting whatsoever. So let's dive into it a little bit. So again, this is the picture here. I believe this is Jim Segala and a couple of the other Skinwalker Ranch guys. And this is Sean Kirkpatrick in that meeting. There's also these photos as well. This is the big picture photo. Okay, so first of all, this is not a classified meeting. This is not an official meeting. This is a presentation to staffers of a lawmaker. I'm assuming, I think it was this, where was this? 2018 briefing in DC. Okay, so they were in DC. I put 2016 in the chat, or the poll, so I got the date wrong, 2018. Okay, so this is the meeting that they had. Again, this is nothing crazy official. This is not a classified setting, obviously, because this picture's been released. And in this photo, it doesn't look like Kirkpatrick is the one leading this presentation. It looks like it's Brandon Fugel is the one leading this presentation. And I'm sure Kirkpatrick is like, what the hell's... This is a natural response to somebody who's like, why is somebody getting up in the middle of a presentation to take a photo of this? It's so strange. Such a weird move. But Eric Bard, right? That's Eric Bard, right? He's ready for a photo. Looks like everybody else is paying attention to what the billionaire in the room is saying, except for Kirkpatrick. Partly because I think he's not interested in this whatsoever. In the next day, I'm going to be releasing a little sparring session, maybe even by the end of tonight, a little sparring session that I had with Science Bob about this meeting. And Science Bob agreed. Sean Kirkpatrick takes anywhere between 10 and 20 meetings a day, 5 days a week. That's almost 50 weeks a year, right? A full work week, a full work schedule. It's a lot of meetings, guys. That's almost 4,000 a year, depending on where he falls on the average between those two numbers. It's a lot of meetings. So even in a 2 or 3 year span, 5 year span, it gets up there. 20, 30, 40,000 meetings, depending on which year we're talking about. So it's understandable why a guy who wants nothing to do with this topic and was probably asked by that lawmaker Because let's be honest, Sean Kirkpatrick is the smartest guy in the room, in this room. And he's also the most highest decorated and technically smartest guy in the room, smarter than all the whistleblowers, and had more access to classified information than any whistleblower, and had a more important, more sought after job than any whistleblower. So when he gets asked to come to a presentation about spooky werewolves smoking cigarettes in trench coats, he's like, what the fuck is going on? And that's understandable. But with all of that said, he did stumble on that question. Big time. Big time. But does that mean he's being nefarious or lying? Or that this is case closed? Like, this is more than likely somebody forgetting about a meeting in a sea of meetings, because that is literally his life. This briefing that they got, it's not classified. It's floating around out there. You can find this briefing. There was something here that Stephen Greenstreet said. Oh gosh. Yeah, Ross Coulthard said stuff too. It's been a wild week, man. People have been saying just some absolute batshit crazy stuff. This was actually really cool. Maybe we could talk about that for a hot second. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see what other facts come back up. This is from Stephen Greenstreet says, update to my reporting. Brandon Fugel has provided photos of a purported 2018 Skinwalker Ranch briefing in Washington. Now, before this happened, Kirkpatrick said, yeah, I don't remember the meeting. I don't remember the meeting. And Fugel's like, oh, I remember the meeting and you were there. Now, he claims that he led this meeting. I think that's where I'd like to know some more information about. And here's the thing. If this meeting, okay, I think it's going to be easy. I hit up John Greenwald. He hasn't hit me back up yet. But I think because this meeting takes place in a public building, as we see here, I think this meeting is foilable, and any meeting that has emails sent to staffers and are sent from government phones can be FOIA'd. So if Kirkpatrick was taking this seriously, I think the reason why he was there is because he was there to make recommendations to the lawmaker on what to do going forward. So there has to be an email or some sort of discussion between Kirkpatrick and either the staffers and those lawmakers, and there has to be a recommendation coming from him in some sort of form of communication. So those things should be FOIA'ble. So we, just like Chris Mellon's conversations were FOIA'ble because he was having them with a government employee, I think this is the same situation here. So hopefully we can get some actual answers on this. Now, let's say he writes an email where he's like, this is the most fascinating presentation I've seen in my entire life. And holy cow, we should let the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security and the President of the United States know about this skinwalker and the fact that it hitchhikes to your bodies and gives people cancer. That could be in an email. And if that is from that guy, that'll make me definitely raise some eyebrows and go, huh, well, what's going on there? But if there's an email that says, this is the dumbest thing that you guys have ever made me sit through, avoid at all costs, then that would make it very clear as to why he doesn't remember this meeting. So unfortunately, both things can be true right now. he can be either lying or forgetting about it. But the good thing is we can, I think, FOIA these things. And again, want to know if John Greenwald can actually get that done. Okay, let's see here. I'm not going to spend crazy time on that because it's just like, you know, I love it how the other side of the fence is, this is a touchdown dance for you guys. I saw memes. One of them I thought was pretty funny. You know, this was a big deal. And to supposedly, or at least think that you're catching Kirkpatrick in one lie. But when you go to the other side of the fence and you see that Grush has lied multiple times, especially with his contact with the Aero office and who contacted who and who tried to do what and sold it as this big thing. And he's definitively lying about that. No big deal there, though. So over here, it's okay when somebody lies. But when somebody lies over here, not okay. I'm going to tell you right now, if Kirkpatrick is lying, it's not okay. I want to know why he's lying. And I'll tell you what, after doing a space with Stephen Greenstreet, where I just got to sit there and ask a lot of questions, really, because, I don't know, I just got in there. It seems clearer and clearer by the day that the OSAP program that was $22 million was trying to be reignited by the same guys a few years later. And because of the mechanisms within the Department of Defense, the same people who approved it the first time were not there the second time to disapprove it. And they got almost to the point where it got approved until they were like, oh, wait, shit, we did this before. It was called OSAP. No thank you to Kona Blue. No thanks, sorry. And I think that's how you get the same guys that are in ATIP. The exact same reason. Once the DOD figured out that the guys from Skinwalker Ranch in the Bigelow OSAP era were running the UAPTF, that's why they changed the name again. Because they had to get rid of those guys and put some actual independent thinkers into those positions. And then when it got funded, it finally changed to the Aero office, from AIMSOG to the Aero office. So now it's official. I don't think this will ever change ever again. These things are becoming clearer and clearer and clearer, but just like the MH370 hoax, for every lie, you need 10 facts to prove it. But if you're thinking clearly and with a little common sense and rationality and not bringing your belief system to it, you can step back and go, this doesn't seem right. This is wrong. But anyway, Mick West is thankfully breaking down some stuff from Skinwalker Ranch. He clipped this and he wrote, is there a space-time wormhole at Skinwalker Ranch? Of course not.
The team at Skinwalker Ranch recently brought in a team of experts from Omnitech, a data analytics company, to help them study a possible mid-air anomaly. This included recording the area with a LiDAR-equipped drone while recording a signal from the ISS during a rocket launch. One particular scan from this event seemed to puzzle the team. It showed a sharp-edged black void. The experts said they had seen nothing like this before, and Travis Taylor suggested it might be a traversable Lorentzian wormhole that could be responsible for the UFOs and other weird things going on at the ranch.
Is that right, Travis Taylor?
But looking at the images, a far simpler explanation seems obvious. Notice the black shadow-like voids behind the cars and the brush. That's areas of missing data. LiDAR can only give you 3D data on things that it can see. So if you just hover your drone in one spot and rotate it, then you'll get these shadows all pointing towards the LiDAR sensor on the drone. And if you rotate the drone without pointing it down enough, then you'll get a void just like this under the drone. So it seems like the simple explanation is that this is a short scan from a roughly stationary position taken at an angle too shallow to get the ground under the drone. Now, they used an expensive LiDAR, which I don't have.
No, Jay's right.
We're talking military intelligence community capable, very expensive hardware that's not readily accessible to anyone else.
But I
Is that
do
right,
actually have
Jay
LiDAR on my phone. LiDAR works by bouncing an array of laser beams off the scene and then recording how far away each point is. The iPhone LiDAR has a limited range, so I created a rough model of the scene in my backyard with cardboard boxes.
Love it.
Firstly, I scanned the scene from the center at a low altitude, doing a full 360 for coverage in all directions. Then I did a proper scan, with the camera a bit higher and moving around so you get lots of different angles, like you would if you were actually doing a real LiDAR survey.
I love Mick West, man.
The center scan gave the same
He is
results
the
as
man.
at Skinwalker. There are shadow voids pointing back at the camera, and there's a large void underneath where I was standing. The proper scan, of course, just showed the scene with no shadow voids and no big void in the middle. This is because I moved it around so you could see all points in the scene. If you rotate the camera more precisely, like you could with a drone, you get a better circle. Then if you make small adjustments while rotating it, that changes the shape a bit. So it looks like that's what they did here. Just a quick 360 scan with a couple of slight dips which give you these curves. Nothing too complicated, no wormhole, and certainly not something they should be puzzled about.
Jim, please tell me you've seen this sort of thing before.
No. Neither is the team. So as you meant, Sam is
See, oh man, this is just takes me. I'm telling you guys are gonna want to watch this debate with me and Science Bob. This little sparring wasn't a debate. Nobody. There were some weird moments in it for sure. But yeah, you're gonna want to watch it. It's pretty damn good. It should be dropping here. I'm gonna try and pump it out today. I'm really obsessed with it. But it's so irresponsible of this drone tech person at Omnitech. Never seen this before. Come on, guy. Why would you say that?
optical expert, electronic warfare guy, looks at all kinds of radar images, and everybody's kind of scratching their head, to say the least, over what this is.
So what is going on here? Is everyone inept? Is everyone lying? No. I don't think either of those things are true.
Come on, Mick,
A
really?
lot of the cast members seem to genuinely believe that things like this are legitimate discoveries. I don't know why Omnitech messed this up, or why Travis postulated wormholes, but showmanship or genuine mistake, either way, they are fooling honest people both in the show and out in the audience. People ask me why I bother with Skinwalker Ranch when it seems to them to be an obvious sham, just a show for viewing numbers. I bother firstly because they are fun little investigations, but also because it's not obvious to everyone, not even to all the members of the cast.
Yeah, so they're a drone selling company. Yeah, I don't see a company for them. I wonder where this company is from. Where is Omnitech? Like, I don't see it anywhere. I mean, are they a Utah-based company? Omnitech, a Utah-based drone testing company, was found liable for harboring the unauthorized Douglas County, Utah property in Nevada called Skinwalker Ranch. The property, which used for drone testing, was misrepresented on Twitter and settlement of the controversial Nevada ranch owned by the Davis family since 1947. What? That's pretty wild. Yeah, I'd say they're lying, Mick. I know, like,
team at
the other
Skinwalker
guys on the
Ranch
ranch, but they're all Mormons, first of all, or ex-Mormons. And they all have the same belief systems, and they definitely believe, all of them, that something spooky is going on this ranch. And again, like in this debate with Bob, I go into the incentives of why it's in their best interest to make sure it stays spooky. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's check this conversation out. So this is just, typical sort of, you want it so bad that you'll talk to anybody kind of situation. And again, like Charlie Weiser hits this out of the park. She writes, the guy who makes a sexually assaulted 10-year-old girl give birth. Love this guy. And if you don't know, Tim Burchett was one of the people in Tennessee who voted for this kind of law to pass, where it forces a 10-year-old pregnant girl to have a child. But because this guy is the UFO voice that is the loudest on Capitol Hill, even though he does not sit on one fucking committee, he hasn't even gone to the Aero office to get briefed on what's happening. If he's so fucking concerned, why does he mosey his dumbass up to fucking the Aero office and actually get a briefing? Because they can give you a briefing, Tim. You don't need to sit on any committee. But I don't think the reason he's done that is because he believes Ezekiel's wheel was a real thing because it was written in a book from the Bronze Age. But this is the kind of person that James Fox just gets giddy and red in the face to be talking to. He's just excited to be there, man. Forget about the shit he actually does legislatively, and forget about the fact that he's got zero influence or power in the halls of Congress. You'll take anyone, James, including Jason Sands. If you guys are defending James Fox and his ability to parse good information, these should be big red flags for you. Big red flags for you.
Sorry.
I'm here with Congressman Burchett, and we just want to make a quick announcement, not to lose hope, that there's progress being made. What can you tell the people out there?
We're making progress. I'm talking to people every day about what's going on, but we will be having some more hearings and we'll be getting some more stuff out. So please don't lose hope, folks. We're gonna keep going until we get the answers.
Big stuff coming this year. And excuse us if we look a little tired. Yes, it is late, and we've been up all day.
You've been up all day?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
It's embarrassing, James. Straight up. It's embarrassing how you're Googling over this guy. And, like, you're supposed to know a lot about this stuff from a legislative perspective. You stole my idea. I can't remember what you called it, but yeah, James Fox basically stole our idea when we were doing the Big Phone Home. He called it something else. And I was linking that site and my site because he had more money to make a site that was better than mine. So I just used his to make sure people could get in touch with their lawmakers. And yeah, he ignored every single request to come on my show for the first Big Phone Home. It was just weird. It was a weird thing. It was especially since he had put that website out. It was so strange. I'm telling you guys, he's not in this for the reasons you think he is. Those films make a ton of money. Again, man, maybe we should go over this, at least one of these depositions. I'll hit somebody up and see which one would be the best one to cover in a 2-hour show. But we need to cover the Corey Good depositions and really break down how much these guys make off of one class sold on the Gaia television network. or one podcast or one documentary. That kind of money will make you Google and goggle to get a congressman with no power to say, oh man, things are coming. Just like we said last year and the year before that, man, don't worry, guys. I'm telling you, hey, it's coming soon, right around the corner. We've heard this a billion times. And James Fox is just pushing the same old bullshit. But who cares, right? Who cares? This was really cool. Check this out. Talk about perfect match. Jeez, man. This makes so much sense. So much sense that this is a lighting balloon. This used to be one of my favorite. On September 10th, 2014, Rick Ybarra pulled into his driveway near San Diego around 6:45 p.m. when he noticed a sphere in the sky. A retired naval defense and therapist who worked at the naval base in San Diego. He describes it as it was 4 to 6 feet in size and about 400 feet off the ground. He also videotaped this. It's used to be one of my favorite UFO videos ever, because look at this thing. 2014, you may not understand this, but when you put it in this context, these lights like this have been around for years. And yes, sometimes they're in this like translucent metallic paint that gives you a certain lighting effect depending on what you're lighting. And look at the top of this one. It's got that effect on there if you really pay attention to it. Here, let me blow it up. You can tell that the top of this is not 100% as bright as the bottom of it. It makes perfect sense. I saw this. Michael Huntington put it out. I was like, oh my God, you just killed everything on that one for me. But that's what it's like, right? To wear the glasses. That's what it's like to wear the glasses. Once you put the glasses on, it's tough to see these things for anything special or diamond in the rough or, the smoking gun. Like it's gonna need to be better than a picture and a video. It really is. Like, and this one definitely shows that. So yeah, thanks Michael Huntington for that. That was really cool. Let's see here. What time is it? 4:21. Oh, we got some time here. Yeah, let's play this. So we've got a couple of Ross Coulthard clips here. This one is from UAP James, and again, this is just Ross Coulthard saying crazy shit. I'm not even gonna read that part. Yeah, let's listen. So again, fair use. We are covering the videos that we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. We've also got a clip from Nolan as well. Let's check this out.
One of the stories that's been surfacing is the story about Eglin Air Force Base. And I notice AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, recently announced in its historical review report that a sighting that allegedly took place in January 2023 by a jet fighter pilot out of Eglin Air Force Base over the Gulf of Mexico, where he allegedly saw an Apollo command module acorn-shaped object. The AARO, the Pentagon's UFO Investigation Office, categorically denied that there was video of that incident. And very, very interestingly, there's an FOI I've just tweeted about where a guy has obtained paperwork from the US Air Force confirming there is video. Somebody's lying. And I know they're lying because overnight I've just received information telling me that the Air Force is reluctant to admit that there is video because the video came from their latest F-22 Raptor fighter. And there were 2 fighters, I'm told, on location that were there when this object was seen. And there is video. It's being declined for national security reasons. Yet AARO tries to make us believe this is a balloon. Utter BS. I'm calling it out. It's a flat out lie.
Okay, Ross Coulthard. If this is a video that was taken at night, do you really think the cockpit videos from those two planes are going to give any definitive answers on what they're looking at? And if they are newer planes, this happened in, I think it was 2020, right? F-22 Raptor fighters. Yeah, it's called Sources and Methods. You're not going to probably get that because there's things on that plane that are still classified. So that makes sense. And who knows, it might have been a training mission on that could very well be tech for a training mission that they don't want you to know about. Just the things that Ross Coulthard says are absolutely very Voldemortish. Looks like we got two Voldemorts in this discussion. Let's see what Coulthard and this guy here are going to say. So, Total Disclosure Podcast Pros, I think it's very clear that in this segment, it's a read between the lines kind of scenario. Of course, he can't come out and say, yep, but just the tone, tension, and body language speaks volumes when it comes to the United States having directed energy weapons developed by DARPA, developed by some DARPA program or an unacknowledged special access program. The work many researchers have done into this is staggering, and the evidence, especially with links to Havana syndrome, all point towards yes, and most likely back engineered via crash retrieval of UFOs or the donations of Diana Pasulka writes in her book. This is why, Diana Pasulka, stuff like this. This is why. When you feed this trough, this is what you get. You don't get any other scholars coming to you, but you get a lot of this. I think that there's essentially a giant cottage industry for this reason. It almost feeds our ambitions to keep innovating. Coincidence? I'm thinking so. Oh, there we go. All right, let's take a listen.
He actually speculated, not too long back, where he actually speculated that the United States and other nations may have directed energy weapons. Now, can you comment? Does the US have secret DEW weaponry, and is any of that positioned on satellites in space?
No, I can't comment with regard to U.S. force capabilities, Ross. I'm sure you can, and your viewers can understand why. But with regard to the capabilities that we have, it's very important that we have a full range and a full complement of capabilities to deal with any adversarial actions as they might unfold.
If we did have directed energy weapons in space, would that be a breach of the Outer Space Treaty?
Again, I can't comment with regard to what we do. I know that the United States has been very diligent in complying with its treaty obligations.
Right. So one of the other things that when I was doing my research was pointed out to me, there was some indignance from commentators that there might be a position taken by the US that it's wrong for nations to test anti-satellite weaponry, because the grim reality, isn't it, is that if we do end up having a nuclear confrontation, a thermonuclear war, isn't the most easy way of knocking out a potential adversary's ICBMs to use an electromagnetic pulse weapon in orbit? And hasn't the US tested such a weapon right back to the 1950s, eventuating in the Starfish prime tests that took place out of Johnson Atoll in the 1960s?
Well, again, Ross, with regard to U.S. compliance with its own treaties, I think we have a superb record. I wasn't even born in the 1950s, so going back that far. But I would tell you that the U.S. takes its treaty obligations very seriously. And has promoted the peaceful use of space for decades. And it's a responsibility of all spacefaring nations to do the same.
But can I just
We got that's the thing. I have to read between the lines of what they're saying. No thanks. I'm good. I'm good. Just say it or fucking don't. Shit or get off the pot, as they say. You know what I was just thinking? Here's what I want to do, guys. I want to give you a little sort of sneak peek onto what I'm working on. Because like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with it. And I am so here's what I'm thinking, guys. Again, I've always been really honest with you guys, as honest as I can be. And go ahead and just get rid of that. And let's see here. Sorry, guys. I'm just bringing this up here. And I've been thinking, because, man, gosh, I've been working a lot on this show, especially, this last month. I've been putting in some real hours again to Lou Reviews, and I almost called it UCR because I haven't really worked this hard for the show in a while. And I'm doing it because primarily I'm having a fucking blast. Like, I'm having a good time making this content and having these conversations that I think should be had. Do this. And so, yeah, this is obviously a rough cut, you guys, but I wanted to play this to a certain point to kind of tease it and tell you that I'm going to start doing videos like this all the time. And they're going behind our subscribers wall because, first of all, I've always not had any sort of paywall. And the reason why I've never had a paywall was because I never wanted to feel like people were getting information that was secret. And the only way you could get it was behind this paywall. I'm not afraid of that anymore. Now I'm just actually creating content that I'm proud of. It takes a lot of work to produce, and I think you guys are going to get a fucking real kick out of it. So I wanted to tease this episode just to give you guys a little taste. Again, there's a lot of work that I need to get done with this one. But I hope to have it out either sometime tonight or I'll probably release it tomorrow. It's probably the better thing to do. But I want to do videos like this 2, 3, 4 times a month if I can. And I think conversations like this highlight really well how the community can be led down some really weird paths very easily by people in this community that are very boisterous and have credibility in some cases that come with their name. And so, yeah, let's tease this out. I'll play it for a few minutes and then I'm going to stop it at a certain point. And I think what you're going to want to hear after this point is where the conversation gets really good. So yeah, here we go. This is a conversation I had a couple of days ago with Science Bob in a space that Astral had. And yeah, it started really, I heard some things and that's what sort of compelled me to come up, and I think you'll see what moment that was, but here we go.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The last thing I have to add for the time being, and I'll shut up and let somebody else talk, is the last really shady act by Kirk is his aiming everybody who claimed they saw anything about whatever in crash retrievals, alien bodies, etc., at Kona Blue, which was the program he damn sure knew never left a piece of paper. Kirkpatrick made a move as he left the door of blaming all the idiocy and lunacy on Kona Blue, which never had the wherewithal to do anything because it was never a program. It never had a storage facility. It never had an office. It never had a telephone or an email. Kirkpatrick tried to distract the media to look at the stupidity of people doing UFOs by aiming them at Kona Blue when he knew it was a nothing burger. He is a scumbag. I'm sorry. There's more levels of obfuscation and twisted paths for classification than you can even think. And John put up on his Black Vault tweet today Kirkpatrick had Title 10 and 50, so he had everything. I got news for you. That's about half of all the classification systems. There's a big 50% he doesn't have access to.
I see.
Okay, so he said all of that stuff, not back to back to back like that, but in little chunks. And he was railing on Kirkpatrick to a point where he called him a scumbag. That's where I had to come in. I had to come in, and I had to say something. I'm gonna give you again a little taste as to how I start to respond to this. But yeah, this will be out on the channel hopefully tomorrow. So if you want to check it out, become a member, which I think we just got a sub. Let me go ahead and pull that information up. Sorry, I just missed that. Yeah, I think it was a sub. I want to shout out the subs that we've got as well. And also, yeah, I'm changing the chat mode to subscribers only. So just a couple changes here on the channel that I think I'm okay with making now. Like I'm okay with making now. So if you wanna chat in our chat, you gotta subscribe to the show. If you want to watch my edited shit that I spend hours and hours and hours collecting and we're waiting for the right moments to happen, then become a member of the show. The little green button's right down below. But real quick, thank you to MacArthur Lusant, who just subscribed, and Plasma Armelund, who subscribed, and Carl Gustav and Matt Danger, all of you guys 4 days ago that subscribed. I'm pretty sure I shout you guys out. But let's just go ahead and get MacArthur Lusant and Plasma Armelund. Thank you guys again. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's listen to a little bit of my response here.
Got your hand up. What's up, dude?
What's up, Liv? What's up, guys? I have a question for Bob, if that's cool.
For sure.
Shoot.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Hey, Bob, you were in the intelligence sort of field, right? I don't know if you were in the community, but you did you do some
27 years in the community.
Okay, so how many meetings a day do you say Kirkpatrick, a guy like Kirkpatrick would take? Safe to say anywhere between 10 and 20 meetings a day?
Oh, especially in his positions,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So after he became a GS-15, which he was,
Yeah.
basically his entire day was meetings.
Right. So I just did a little quick math, and maybe I don't know. You tell me, Bob. But I've averaged about 13 meetings a day, and that was kind of like just between. I was going, oh, let me just go for the low end, So 13 meetings a day. That's 3,250 meetings a year, and 39,000 meetings in a 7-year span.
I quit.
Is it possible?
I'm done.
Is it possible that maybe he forgot this meeting?
100%.
I believe with all my heart that he remembers about 10% of the details and 3 or 4 of the people who attended the meeting. But that's the kind of meeting you won't forget.
I don't know. If he's not into the topic, I mean, look, I've seen this presentation, Bob. I used to be on a really good speaking basis with Brandon Fugel for a long time. There's nothing in this presentation, I think, that would move the needle for a guy with Kirkpatrick's qualifications. And to be fair, like, his qualifications are better than any whistleblower out there.
What capacity do you think he came in, though, Lou, into the meeting?
Oh, he was a high muckety muck in the space part of the U.S. Air Force before Space Force became into existence. He was a very high-ranking person.
Yeah. No, I think, honestly, I really do think he was invited there by whatever lawmakers. I don't know if there were lawmakers. I got to look at the photo again.
It's all staffers.
Okay.
Which is wrong. It's not all staffers. It's mostly Skinwalker Ranch employees.
Okay, it's all staffers. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, man, I think this is just maybe a favor to a lawmaker, saying, "Hey, can you please just be there? You're the smartest guy I know. If you're in town at this time, can you do me the solid?" And he's like, "Sure, no problem." And then somebody snaps a picture of him in a meeting, and boom, like, here we go. Like, I think.
So that's where we're gonna leave the tease for the new Spaces interview that's coming out. And by the way, we have, and not every Spaces interview will be behind the paywall. The ones that are super important that I think are discussions where I think anyone can appreciate, those will always be free. So we're going to put the things that entertain behind a paywall, but the things that help people will always be free. So you have my commitment there on that. We had a killer discussion the other day in a Twitter space, where we were talking to a clinical psychologist. He goes by the name of Craft Beard on Twitter, and we did a space that has been really getting a lot of love. And so Craft Beard, clinical psychologist who helps rehabilitate former inmates or inmates really on death row. He doesn't, it's hard to rehabilitate that, but he counsels them. And some of the things that he said from his experiences, man, just the conversation was incredible. We have it on our YouTube. We have it as a podcast. So check out the links below and you'll be able to find both the podcast and the episode. Just go through our videos, and you should find it. We just put it out yesterday and it's getting a lot of really positive feedback. I think, yeah, talking about sort of the abduction phenomenon and the people behind it and what is going on. We put a book list again. I'll mention this again. We put a list of books that is a forensic interviews regarding child. Well, there's a lot of books in here, but there's books being added all the time. Let me go to the original book link, and then I'm going to send you guys the link, so anyone who wants to check this out, you can. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. There we go. So again, this is the books are Abducted, How People Come to Believe They Were Kidnapped by Aliens, The Memory Wars, Freud's Legacy and Dispute, The Repressed Memory Epidemic, How It Happened and What We Need to Learn from It, The Myth of Repressed Memories, False Memories and Allegations of Sexual Abuse, The Memory Illusion, Remembering, Forgetting, and the Science of False Memory, Remembering Satan, A Case of Recovered Memory and the Shattering of an American Family, Suggestions of Abuse, and Intimate Alien, the Hidden Story of the UFO. And then there's also article links to the Ariel School sighting, the Travis Walton case, the Priest of High Strangeness, which is co-creation of the alien abduction phenomenon. There's a lot of really great resources to explain possibly what either you might be going through or somebody that might be going through. And these could be some good books and things that you're not going to get suggested in a 15-hour Twitter space about UFOs. So I think, again, this is a really great link. Matthew Wright, I see you're here, man. If you could do us a favor. Also, I think I shared this link in our Discord, but if you could share it again, it's just an insanely great resource to have for people in the conversation who are fascinated. And we're going to be having a lot more conversations with Andres. We had some technical difficulties on this first conversation. He was having a really hard time connecting. So maybe next time we'll do it here instead. But I really liked having the venue of having people ask questions. So I think we'll do at least one more space with him, and then maybe we'll get him here on the Lou Reviews side of things. But man, I'm telling you guys, go check out that video. It is really, really good. As a matter of fact, I'll link it here for you guys. I'll put the link for that as well, because I'm really proud of this conversation. And, you know, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what's happening, you know, but I'm literally scratching the surface on this stuff. And so, yeah, if you want content like this, again, help support the show. It's the best way that I can help create more content like this. So yeah, let's see here. What else? Did I have anything else to talk to you guys about? I don't think so. You guys have gotten some pretty good content out of me this week. I made some really cool clips, got some great tools to create clips like this one here. Let me just switch to Lou Reviews again. I don't know if you guys been seeing this on my Twitter, but yeah, we found a software that turns our shows or any of these spaces into clips. And so it's a super useful tool, but I really didn't know how to use it when I first got it. And I've used all of my allotted time to make clips. So I got to wait a full month before I can start making more of these. But now I know how to actually use it efficiently. So yeah, get ready. We're going to be making a lot more clips like this for our shorts on YouTube and to put up on Twitter, as like little teases for full interviews, you know, stuff like, you know, again, going into spaces and having debates, respectful debates, but debates that actually hold some of these things that people are saying to the fire and see how well they hold up, and then highlighting those conversations and sharing them with you guys. I think I found a nice little corner here to sort of to cover. You know, I've been thinking about this for a little while, especially, and that's why you've seen me in so many spaces, and that's why I've been listening to so many spaces, because if people need to be held accountable to the things they say. And the problem with a lot of these spaces is most people aren't checking in on them. They're pretty anonymous. So it's a really good temperature gauge into what's going on with the community in these discussions, and highlighting some of the terrible shit, highlighting some of the wonderful moments, highlighting what's really good about the community, which we had in this last discussion with our clinical psychologist, Andres. This is what we're going to be doing. Like, I found it. I've got the show now. I understand exactly how to produce Lou Reviews and how to make content for you guys. So again, if you're here to support it, support the fuck out of it if you can. And if that's as simple as a like, share, subscribe, and ringing the bell, awesome. Even better. Let's see here. And yeah, I think that's everything, you guys. Well, I guess I could sort of mention one last thing. Yeah, you know what? I will talk about this here real quick. So if you noticed in the last week, if you're a fan of the show, or even if you were a mod of the show, and you saw me go hard on someone this week, no holds barred. I'm a pretty patient person. For me to do something like that, I had to have been pushed to a corner where the only choice I had is to absolutely annihilate the source of my issues. I think this person knows exactly who I'm talking to and who I'm talking about. It's pinned to my Twitter profile, and it will stay pinned until I get some kind of apology for the words that were said in that video. Primarily from the second person, which is wild because they haven't apologized. They've just doubled down in little quieter ways than they were doing before. But I've offered an olive branch. Like, yeah, I'm willing to take those down if you guys want to have a conversation of why it is you're so upset and why it is you're saying the things that you're saying. And that offer still stands. But I wanted to explain to my audience and the people that are finding me here, first and foremost, I am a comedian. That is what I do. I do comedy. I'm an actor. And I'm a guy who's had a weight problem his whole life. And so because of that weight problem, I've been picked on relentlessly forever. I'm not saying this for you to feel bad for me. What this has done is create an arsenal of replies and things to do when I feel like I'm in 5th grade again and that kid who's getting picked on and getting made fun of has something to say back. When I do things like this, they're swift and they're explosive, and then I leave it be. I burn it to the ground. Burn it to the ground. And then I walk away. And if you want to rise like a phoenix out of your ashes, I recommend you stay in your fucking ashes. Highly recommend it. I don't like to be bullied. But if you're going to bully me and you're going to make me feel those feelings that I don't like to act on, it's not my favorite thing to do. But if anyone has noticed, since I've done that video, 0. Not a fucking peep. No responses other than some retweets and likes and running some mouths in other Twitter spaces. If you're going to come at me, be ready. I'm going to roast the absolute shit out of you. Not comment on your weight, not call you mentally challenged with an R, not go after your family. I'm going to go after you. And I'm going to make you feel what it feels like when you say the things that you say constantly for months now. So I just want to say that to my audience. If you see me do something like this in the future, which I'm sure it will happen again, you know why. It's because I've reached a point where it's like, okay, it's time to do something. So, yeah, just wanted to say if you took offense to that, you're catching strays that weren't for you. And if you're upset or blocked me because of it, that's cool. Now I know how you really roll and what you're really paying attention to and what you let get you all riled up and angry. And if you're willing to drop me at the drop of a fucking hat like that, you shouldn't have been here in the first place. So, again, this is why I don't make friends on this platform. Acquaintances, buddies, colleagues, sure. But I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. So, yeah, that's that. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about, you guys. Pretty sure. Anyway, you guys, hope you have a killer weekend. I really do. Again, check out, look out for this video that we will be doing. It's going to drop here in the next day. Ooh. No. Let's do our song, man. Let's do our song, baby. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Levels, everybody. Levels. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. Want to thank my guest, Cryshlee. Want to thank all of you guys out there that have been in the chat. Angel Reese, Sparky Pilot, and Breeder Syndicate, who are my mods. Thank you guys for sticking with me. You've been there since the beginning. Hard ride or die. Pat Calabria, yo, brother. Thank you for being here. All you guys, Wild Fools, Drummer 3354. You guys, thank you so much for being here. It means like this show means something again, and that's because of you guys. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun again. So that's a good place to be when I'm having fun. So yeah, I'm having fun when I'm eviscerating, and I'm having fun when I'm not. So I hope you're here for the ride. Please do not forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button, ring the bell. That way you guys are notified anytime we go live. And if you can, support the show. If you're going to support the show, do it through a YouTube membership, so that way you get access to these videos and these conversations that I'm having in these spaces, so you don't have to have them. So you're going to enjoy these conversations, I promise you. So if you can, please do. And yeah, I think that's it. Everything. That's it, everybody. Once again, thank you for embarking on this journey with me. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you once again for helping me raise the bar here on Lou Reviews. Have a killer weekend. Join the Discord. Come chill out with us there. Come find me on Twitter. All that good stuff. Later, guys. Have a killer weekend. Peace.